If you don't know what annuities are, chances are you're not alone. Joining us to talk about the topic is President and CEO of Wilsey Asset Management, Brent Wilsey. First, Brent, happy Father's Day.
Well,
Thanks
thank you
for
very
coming
much.
in.
I appreciate that, and to your husband as well.
Oh, thank you. So, yes, a lot of people, and I literally just said to you, I don't know a lot about annuities, and a lot of people probably tell you that they don't know a lot about them.
The thing they know about them, quote unquote, oh, they're very safe. And that's how they're sold. They're sold by brokers to say, oh, they're as safe as T-bills, CDs, and that is not the case, because those are backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. Annuities, insurance products are backed by state. And it's very hard. You kind of look into this, you cannot find what it really is. It's some insurance fund. We know the state of California has a deficit now, so if they were to collapse, where would it come from? And this came out recently because the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago made a discovery that 20 to 50% of assets of some insurance companies are invested in what they call private placements. Now, what is a private placement? This is where it gets confusing. They're placements to where there's no secondary market. Used to be insurance companies would invest into mortgages, equities, real estate, thing that was safe. Well, that's not the case anymore. And people don't know this because the Bank of Chicago, they said, wait a minute, what is going on here? And also, too, there's another research done. Some of the loans that they did, they couldn't verify them. They couldn't find them. Where are these loans at? So there's some concerns going on that they're looking into. And here's the other thing. Some of these loans they did find, they were loans to soccer teams, small airlines, film financing, which is very high risk, and even some broadcast rights for sports. So the investments that they're using on the assets are not the safe assets of years ago.
Okay, so what do people need to be aware of? What should they be looking out for if they are going, oh, hey, somebody suggested I should invest in this?
What they have to realize that these are being sold by salespeople. And again, they're not all bad people. They just think that they're doing something good. Well, unfortunately, they're not analysts. They don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. And they say, yes, it's very safe. Don't worry about what this guy Brent Wilsey says. Annuities are very safe. But they are not as safe as they think. And there was a company back in the 90s called Executive Life Group. They went insolvent. Now, back at the time, it was $13 billion. Well, today's numbers, that's about $40 billion. Some people only got back about 2/3 of their investment, got no interest at all, and some didn't get as much money back as that. So it's something you got to be very careful of what company you're dealing with. Don't think just because it's an annuity, it's a safe thing. And again, these salespeople that are doing that, many times are incentive trips to Morocco and to Australia. So incentivized to sell these annuities, they don't care about the client. Like, I want that trip to Australia. So be very careful and ask these questions. You know, we always tell people, we're a money manager, ask us what we charge. We show you what we're charging. Ask the person, what kind of commission are you getting? Sometimes these commissions are 7, 8, I've even seen as high as 10%. And now we're finding out from, again, the Bank of Chicago that, wait a minute here, they're not very safe as we thought they were.
Okay, Brent Wilsey, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
And like I said, enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you.
Well, today,